You're listening to the Hot Seat Podcast. Welcome all. I'm Sean, along with my co-host, Earl.
What's going on?
And the guy in New York, Matt Pat, Dave.
Yes, sir.
And you guys know what it is. We're just dads with mics, gamers with headsets, and a whole lot of unfiltered conversation. And as always, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Hot Seat Podcast. Be sure to listen, like, rate, review, share, and most importantly, enjoy on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite shows. And you can go ahead and subscribe to that YouTube channel, guys, at the Hot Seat Podcast for this show, as well as our live Hot Seat Podcast presents football talk each and every Sunday for the most part. And of course, as always, if you don't feel like doing none of the shit that I just asked you to do, you can just go directly to our website, hotseatpodcast.com, where you can also support the show by becoming a member of the Hot Seat Podcast Plus, get 20% off your merch and some other exclusive stuff as well. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, my brothers. How are we doing? How are we feeling? Dave, you got it.
I'm on cloud nine right now, man. If for all the Mets fans, you know what? Let me just say it in this way. For all fans of teams that stress you the fuck out, which is most New York teams, but
yes.
Just in general, that just stress you the hell on out all the way to the end. If you know anything about this Mets story specifically this year, man, the game ain't over till the game is over. Like, they kick in the sixth inning on. That's honestly what they do. I honestly get more scared when they get a lead in the beginning of the game because they don't know how to hold that besides the last game that just happened. So,
sounds like other New York teams I know.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm on cloud nine, seeing Doc Gooden out there in the crowd, just seeing New York stand up like they are during playoffs time, watching baseball, and it's not the Yankees. I'm hyped. I'm hyped. So they've done way more than what I thought they were going to do this year, if I'm being honest. But yeah, we here, man. I believe, man. 3 outs.
I love it. It's what 4-1 right now, right?
4-1, and we're at the top of the ninth.
I love it.
Let's close the show, and they're good.
Mr. Earl, how you feeling, man? How you feeling?
I can't complain. We got half a days all week, so I'm happy. And I gotta work from home on Friday, off on Monday. So yeah, no complaints.
Are you congested right now? You sound congested, real nasal.
Yes.
Oh, okay, it's that time of year. Yep, it's that time of year. Get you some of that, vitamin D,
Get around them children.
Yeah, go ahead and chew your ginger, garlic,
No,
parsley.
this was an adult being in this daggone insurance class. That joint, the daggone instructor, I didn't realize that he was sick, and he up here high fiving people. So I said, "Nah, get me out of there."
Speaking of insurance, and I know this probably ain't got nothing to do with what you got going on, but so I started with this new company. Love the company, by the way. Love the company. But, you got 30 days when you first start, to do all your benefits and stuff like that. So, I got about a week out. I've been going through it and stuff like that because, now in these day and age, when you put your kids on your dependents, it ain't as simple as typing their information in. They got to verify all that shit. You need social security number, birth certificate, all that. Like, I don't know how many black men tell you they got kids and be playing. When I put her down there, I really do mean that's my child. You know what I'm saying? But so I'm going through the medical part. And I know we're in an election season. Nigga, when I selected, there's only 2 options. You had like the HSA, which is the health savings account type plan. And then you had the PPO plan. So I'm going through like, what's the difference? I know they were saying like the PPO plan, if you're a person with a lot of health ailments and stuff like that, you want to allow lower out-of-pocket costs and stuff like that, this is what you choose. The HSA, you kind of put stuff in an account there, you kind of save for like medical stuff like that. But for that one plan, let's just say I had to look at it twice. By the time I added that, vision and dental, that was like per paycheck, 400 and some change. Why? Why? I know I have a lot of ailments, but damn it, I'm old school. I'll rub some shit on it, literally, and walk it off.
That ain't it.
Bruh, what? That HSA sounding better and better every day. I'm like, hey, we got to figure this out. But I
Did
said,
I miss one? You got a new job?
Wow.
This guy's worse.
I must have missed that.
I am thinking about this CPO plan, though, otherwise, though, because, while Dave is doing great with his Mets and you're feeling good about your half days, I fell down the stairs. And in the middle of the night, about 1 a.m. in the morning, letting the puppy out because she was yelping. Just walking downstairs. And I don't think I did nothing bad to nobody all week. Foot slipped from under me. And when you're over 40, all you can do is grab everything you can. Unfortunately, there was nothing for me to grab, so I was just grabbing air on the way down.
That slow motion fall.
Man, I hit the ground. I hit the stairs and went down the stairs. So I fell from the top of the stairs from the second platform. Hit that joint there, slid down, tried to catch myself, then work out because now I'm trying to catch my hand slipped out from under me. Got a nasty rug burn. For a minute there, I thought my arm was broke. 1 a.m. And you know the bad part about this? I have 1, 2, 3, and a baby living in my house. I had 3 adults in the house.
Ain't nobody wake up.
Ain't nobody get up. I was just mad because it happened. I'm letting the dog out. Nobody get up at all.
Now the dog was just looking at you like you still taking me out.
Hey, quick question. How long did you sit there when you fell down the steps?
I sat there for a minute thinking about life. I thought about getting my keys, getting inside of my little ass clown car, me and Minnie, and just leaving. Because ain't nobody get up out of bed. I'm like, no one gives a shit.
Oh, man.
Only for the missus to wake back up after I let the dog back upstairs. After I came back upstairs, she said, did you fall down the stairs?
Oh, my God.
I thought I was dreaming. I'm sorry, I love you, babe. But bitch, yes, I did fall down the stairs and you didn't come up and come check on me. I have scoliosis and all types of
Oh, man.
I fell and fucked up my arm, and then we went to Busch Gardens the next day.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Them rides suck.
Yes, I was holding on to Pantheon with one hand because my arm was wrapped. I was all
Could you not see what you was doing? Like, how did you fall?
It's just one of those things where, man, like you don't get, I guess, solid footing, and I'm walking down. You know how you're not trying to wake nobody up? So I think I was kind of like walking down the stairs because I got this one stair that kind of creaks. I'm like, I gotta fix that shit. I try not to wake anybody up.
Nah, you too old to be doing that. You gotta just walk down the stairs, bro. You can't be worrying about nobody else.
Falling downstairs after 40 ain't it, bro. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, that's how I broke my ankle. I was at work and I walked down the stairs.
Yeah, so that's
the step.
That's what kind of show it's going to be. It's I think October is Mental Health Awareness Month, I believe. And my mental health says, yeah, don't fall downstairs at 1:30 in the morning because nobody don't give a shit. I'm bullshitting. But yeah. What you say there, sir? What'd you say?
Nah, I said I'll be going on mute when I'm screaming over here with 2 outs away. 2 people.
It's okay. I love it. So let's get right into it, man. Episode 156. We've been off for a couple of weeks. A lot of stuff has been happening. Somebody who wished he fell down the stair was one Sean Combs. From this point forward, I will never call him by his nickname. He is Sean Combs. He was finally taken into custody a few weeks ago, as the prosecution and states feel like prepare to try to lay the hammer down. He is accused of everything from sex trafficking, racketeering, drugs. I think I saw something about weapons. I'm not sure. They started
weapons there.
Next thing I know, they were talking about tax fraud.
Yeah.
They're gonna say something. You got to overdue library books. They put a lot of shit on there just to see how things going. But were you guys surprised? And where do you think this gonna go? If it goes anywhere.
He going to jail.
That is true. That is true.
Well, my take is a little bit different. I'm sorry to say it, but if I see breaking news on anything on Diddy, it won't surprise me because this follows an Epstein type of thing to me.
Suicide watch.
Right.
Yeah, it's an Epstein thing to me, and it's not even. I think I forgot who I was having a discussion with, but when you talk about some of these things that you just broke down, was he the only one at these parties and these get-togethers and pulling some of these females in? No, I think there's probably a good clientele list.
Right.
And if there was, I'm not just talking about regular celebrities getting in trouble. I'm talking about some people that can pull some strings, if you get what I mean. And when you see some of these big things go down, notice you never hear about any others. It's just the person that got.
Yep. Shout out to Michael Vick.
It's only the person that got. So, yeah, I'm hoping that we don't fall within that situation, but it wouldn't surprise me. I'll just keep it that way.
I agree.
That's a long list for a lot of years.
Yeah, that's something you and I talked about off mic, Dave. Was that
okay? It was you, all right?
Yeah, and it was having him on suicide watch. Yes, they had Epstein on suicide watch too, and this goes back to anybody who had been paying attention to when Homeland Security raided his homes. We're not out here to project conspiracy theories, but if you know anything about some of these government agencies, Homeland Security just don't, invade your home like that. They don't. Homeland Security, usually you hear about terrorism. You might hear about trafficking of some sort. Really sex trafficking. I used to work in the airport, so we used to see those posters and get all those types of trainings all the time. The Mets scored again, or the game's over.
We going to the NLCS, baby.
That was big. I saw that they was on. I felt like he was going to hit a home run, man. It was going to tie it up.
Look at that. Look at that.
I'm sorry, man. I know we were getting deep. I'm sorry.
It's good. I love it. Hey, look, this is why it's a podcast. I like the fact that this is happening for you guys. A year or two removed after y'all spent all that damn money, and then the bottom fell out. It's been a great year so far for our sports teams. Shout out to Rutgers. It's been a great year.
I don't know what that means because we 4-1. We the same record as well.
That's what he was just saying.
Nah, I felt like that was sarcasm. I felt like he was being sarcastic.
No, because you've been poo-pooing all week.
Nah, being sarcastic.
You've been poo-pooing all week. Y'all been doing y'all thing since y'all actually beat my Hurricanes in the bowl game last season. And I love it. I love it. Y'all be doing your thing. I love it. I like this. This is gonna be an interesting championship series. Good job, Dave. That's about how far I can go because I'm a Mets fan. I'm a Nats fan, and
I'm a Mets fan too.
I'm a Nats fan.
I'm just don't talk about
it. Oh my god. But yeah, man. Like to. So what we were talking about, man? This
how many games he went to this year? How many I went to?
Oh man, hey man, look. Sometimes
ask him a player besides Lindor.
Marte.
Because he on the screen.
No, I'm not even looking at the screen. I'm looking at.
Okay, I'm about to say.
They better sign.
Go ahead,
no man, it's
but getting back to what you were saying on the fact of like the Diddy and the racketeering and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you said, they got to have a certain amount of evidence to even go in.
Right.
As far as like any type of RICO cases.
Right.
So they kind of knew exactly what they were going in for.
Right.
And the avalanche of this all was that video. Just all of a sudden coming out with the
Yeah, that was
the avalanche. Because remember, this is after they already signed off on their agreement and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, the video shows up that, trust me, it's not just that somebody just got a hold of it. This is is pretty planned out on this release.
I think somebody didn't like the fact that they settled so quickly with Cassie. They was like, oh, no.
I don't think that video was. I don't think that video was. I think that video bought them more time. That's what I think that video did.
Because I don't something like that.
Yeah, that video is not the reason why he's in jail. Like, it's not.
No, that's not what I said.
No,
that's not what I said.
Yeah, maybe I missed the whole point. Man.
Yeah.
He was saying when the avalanche started after that video. So first you heard about the Cassie.
It's not the reason why he's in there.
Okay, I got you.
And then he settled with her.
They want to get him on something much bigger than that.
Right. He settled with her, and then after that, it was like somebody was like, "Oh no, you just ain't gonna settle this in quiet." And then they dropped this video that, we all know somebody held on to. This is like 9 years old that video was, and it was in perfect quality, which is still outstanding to me. And then we see what's happening.
I believe exactly how you just said it, Sean. Because if you remember the steps of how everything went, she basically told him, basically, if you don't do this, then I'm coming. Exactly. We going to court, and I'm coming out with this evidence. Right. And then he called her bluff, if you remember.
Yep.
Then she was like, "Oh yeah."
Right.
And then he was like, "All right, hold up." Yeah. So just like you said, I think somebody was holding that and was like, "Oh no, this is coming out."
Yeah, absolutely.
This is going to come out in court, but y'all ain't going to court. Oh no, this is coming out.
So let's stop right there because we're going to do something that a lot of people are not going to agree with by the way we present it, but it's a truth that we have to recognize. And I'm going to preface my statement by saying the shit that he did, allegedly, he deserves whatever penalty is coming his way. Simple as that. At the same time, two things can be true. There is a cost for a black person, male or female, or whatever the classification is these days, to ascending to heights beyond what the universe says you are allowed to. What do I mean by that? We're about to see a case that probably over the next year that while it's always been unfortunately, it's been a joking matter, but hell, we never even been around Diddy and these guys, but shit, we knew the stuff because from people talking about it, it's come out from comedians, interviews and stuff like that. It's been out there for shit, probably decades. And call it what you want. This kind of started the moment that, in whatever order, that Sean Combs decided that he wanted to take action against those he was in bed with business-wise, whether it was the Ciroc situation, even go back to the Sean John situation. He started, you've seen, Diddy on video and stuff that he can be pretty obnoxious, but as my grandma would say, he got too big for his britches. And these folks was like, all right, bet. This is what we're going to do. So we're going to pull your shit. Go look at R. Kelly, which we knew about this going all the way back to when we were in high school. That started unfolding the moment that questions started surrounding about his royalties for his music and stuff like that. We know about Cosby. Fast forward a little further, we know about Tyler Perry, something you and I talked about, Dave. He bought Fort McPherson, built that lot, was challenging Hollywood, and all of a sudden you start to see little things come out here and there, and somebody got in his ear. Somebody who else is pretty profound got in his ear, and you see step back.
Sometimes the ending is not jail. Sometimes the ending is the ending. Prince, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
When they started making certain moves on things,
right,
a lot of things changed.
So what do you guys think about that, man? And again, for those who are watching or listening, this is not a conspiracy thing. If it was just one thing, but you start to see a pattern. And this is not to absolve anybody of anything that they do. The only person who's come out clean, something I told Dave off mic, was our former president, President Barack Obama. I felt in my heart at some point, I said, please don't have no dirt on you so you can just do this whole thing. And they were never, ever able to pull nothing on him because he was pretty clean. So what did you guys take, man, on the fact that these icons in these different entertainment spaces, and once they ascend to these points to where they're like, up there with the folks, they come back crashing down to earth?
I mean, I think, like you said, you got to stay clean. Especially when you're trying to make certain moves, or and I don't know if that was the situation, but if you're trying to make certain moves and play in certain arenas, you definitely got to go in there, without any baggage. And I think that's Tyler Perry didn't get caught up with nothing because he really don't have no baggage. Like, he didn't really get caught out there. But Diddy, while he might stay and try to play it as if, we're fighting back, he's a revolutionary fighting against the machine. But, bro, you did dirt. Like,
yeah,
you're not innocent and by no stretch of the man. And like, you avoided jail plenty of times. Like, you change your name and stuff like that. So it's like, if anything, they was telling you, yeah, you might want to relax because I think you're feeling yourself as if we can't just end this today for you. And you see.
And you burn just about every business bridge that was out.
Yep, exactly. So I think he got ahead of himself. It was kind of almost like, I'm not even going to compare it to that because that's not the same thing. But again, I think you got to be clean.
What you got? What you got?
I think when you get in certain crowds with certain people that are out there and they're not of your likeness, I think certain leeway is given until it's not. And there's a line that's there. And sometimes when people get so big, I think they try to erase that line, but the line will always be there. Just going on like the Tyler Perry situation, I believe, when that whole thing went down with BET, which still honestly hasn't been explained because he had the money.
Right.
I think there were certain people around him to make sure that certain things were in the right place and that boundary wasn't crossed after everything came to a halt. Because there's plenty of us that are out there with certain finances to be able to do whatever we want to do. But I believe there's also a dirt trail that is held.
Right.
And that dirt trail comes out whenever they want it to come out. And that's why I said it's going to be interesting when not just the Diddy stuff comes out, but you guys got video. I'm sure there's guest lists. I'm sure there's emails and invites and things like that. Is anybody else? If we're talking about like young females and things like that, well, who were partying with them?
Yeah.
Who was doing things with them? You know what I mean? When you see all these documentaries that are already ready to be released, hell, I saw some that are already out there right now on the Diddy situation and who they're talking to. Well, that means you were there. So what were you doing?
Are you at least complicit?
Yeah. I always told you the thing that pissed me off about the whole R. Kelly thing is not that R. Kelly shouldn't have been caught, but some of these people doing these documentaries that were speaking, I was like, so you don't even just know about it. You were in the room. Like, you were there.
You were there.
Like, how we speaking freely like you just straight? Like, you were there. You knew of everything that was going on. How are these parents not there that were just dropping kids off? It just kills me. I always told you when I go back on like even the Michael Jackson allegations and all the things with the kids that were never proven. But when you sit back and you hear some of these stories, you're like, so you were parents dropping off your young kids at the gate of Neverland Ranch and leaving? Like, what are we talking about? And then you talk about a story that happened while your kids were like, some of this stuff.
It's like the Nickelodeon. It's like the Nickelodeon. You complaining about? You left them.
Yeah, and they pick out the one person that they want to take down. They take down that person, and you don't hear nothing else about the story. I know it's outside of what we're speaking of, but Sean, you know what I was talking about when I was talking about the the former Redskins, former Washington football team. I don't want to put them in the Commanders because it's a new regime. So I'm talking strictly Snyderverse.
We apologize. Not be confused with the DC.
Not with DC, but we'll talk about that too. But yeah, like even when that all went down, who was the scapegoat? It was Gruden. Shoot, Snyder didn't even go down. Right. He made all that money selling the team. The only person that went down was Gruden.
Yep.
That was it. You tell me nobody else was in the email conversations? He's conversating with himself. All this stuff that's going on. Nobody's agreeing with them. Nobody's saying their feelings. All these other owners. This is the only person that went down in these conversations? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. So that's why I say you're only going to hear, just like news is meant to be, you're only going to hear what they want you to know.
Right.
You're not going to hear the real truth and the total truth. Because the people that are on these lists, they will find a way to make that list disappear.
Yeah.
You still haven't heard about no Epstein list. You still haven't heard about the people on that.
All I know is it's and I know some will say it was easy for you guys to say this because you're not in that position. But you have I would think you would have to have some type of moral compass for some of the things that had allegedly happened in his home and in these places for people just to stand by and be like, you're hearing, and you're gonna hear a lot of stories come out, and there's a lot of truth to a lot of these things there, but it's like, man, ain't nobody was just like, nah, like, and I made an argument before that. And it was interesting that as long as Sean Combs had been in the industry, and this was, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this was before Jay had jumped off or Rockaway and all that. You remember, Diddy had, he had Sean John. He had all these major things then. I mean, he had Ciroc, he was one of the, he's not the first, but he was one of the first major people to really, have a spirit that went global. Like Ciroc is crazy. But then I know it's just a list and stuff like that. But I found it interesting that his path to becoming a billionaire was so slow compared to, and I know he has, maybe it's the cases where he was dealing with people business wise and they didn't want to work with him like that. But I just found it interesting that almost looked like they had him. He's been on I call it like a rabid dog. They got him chained up, but the dog itself can still do damage. And once that dog breaks loose, they were like, you know what? We got to put him down. And I think that's what you're looking at with him.
Well, another thing to notice, Sean, is when you don't think that when you don't think that this is connected to other things in and out of the industry,
right?
Look how many CEOs just dropped out right now, stepped down, just out the blue.
So many.
Is that a coincidence?
So many.
Just stepped out. You know what I mean? Not saying certain people have done things, but I'm just saying, look how these things were going. There's individuals that even before this all went down, they no longer live in the States. I don't want to say their names, but you should know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he rolled out quick as a bit.
Yeah, they no longer live in the States. They operate internationally now.
It's going to be an interesting time, man. And it's going to be unfortunate because it's one of those things that we've fallen into a couple of times, whether we're listening to Robert Kelly, in this case, we're listening to a Bad Boy record. You're listening to, we're watching wrestling. These people, man, who have been entertainers that we looked at and we fawned over, and then something bad comes out about them. You're like, damn, bro, we were talking about Hulk Hogan a few episodes ago.
Yep.
And then you look at him now, like, dog, you're a piece of shit.
Yep.
But back in the day, Hulkamania, crazy. Like, it's just wild to me. I mean, we'll watch it.
You can't tell me nothing wrong about Hulk back then.
It's, by the way, if you guys have not watched the McMahon documentary, you must watch it. And that's going to also give you another thing. You're like, damn, I still watch wrestling. But at the same time, I was watching so much, I knew the shit that was happening out there. You know, I got the magazines and all that. I knew they were grimy as hell. It's interesting, man, that...
And for anybody, you know, just because you brought that up,
Yeah.
for anybody that says like wrestling is not a sport, it's just entertainment, I want you to watch basically that documentary and see, especially some of these old heads, what they went through.
Right.
365 days a year.
Right. So I'm glad. Good transition. Good transition. So talk about real quick. What makes a sport a sport? Like, what makes it a sport? And I apologize for everybody's watching on YouTube. My camera went out, so you guys get my audio. But what makes a sport? Is it in wrestling? You don't have. I know it's scripted, but you're still performing. You're still an athlete. So back when I was a teenager, I guess, and you know we had a lot of stuff happening at the Hampton Coliseum, but they actually have local, you know, wrestling stuff as well. So I got, maybe I was a young adult, and I got the chance to like go to like this little wrestling thing here, and like behind the scenes type, and they showed you how to take a bump. What a bump is when they land, you know, they fall onto the mat. So this was way back in the 90s, bro. So now the mats are much more advanced. But back then, though, and I got to explain what it was. It's a big ass spring. If you take that ring apart, it's a big ass spring in the middle. It has 4 arms. It goes to each corner. And then there's like plywood. And then there's like them gym mats from when we was in high school. You know what I'm talking about? That's what they were wrestling on, kind of. So they were showing us how to take a bump.
So basically cement.
Yes. Bruh. To fall back, and what you do is to take the impact off. You fall back, and you kind of like throw your shoulders, your arms out. This spread it out. That shit hurt, bro. That shit hurt.
I just want to. I want to give you the breakdown in the dictionary real quick. You ready? And then go back to wrestling. An activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment.
That's wrestling.
I mean, that's a couple things I could put in there as a sport, but we ain't gonna go there.
Yeah.
Don't laugh at me here.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You competing. Hey, look, you can who went first? We racing.
I'm a veteran in my sport game. Put me in, coach. I'm sorry. I digress.
But yeah, true, man. Like, so like although it's scripted, you know, these guys, they get much respect for what they do. We've seen wrestlers die trying to entertain, which is crazy. Owen Hart, rest in peace. We've seen
that part. Whew.
Yeah. We've seen guys back in the day like Jake the Snake Roberts, and these guys, they were performing like it's 365 days in a year. They're performing like 363 of those days, city to city. Back in the day when they were just going on a bus and they zooted it up. Some of them taking roids and they just out there performing, doing these maneuvers that are insane. Like, we've all been put in the Boston Crab as a young adult or as a young kid by our older brother or something like that. Or our younger brothers, in my case. That shit fucking hurts. That shit hurts, man. We've all been put in a sleeper hole. You've been put in a figure 4. Yeah, man. It's salute to those guys, man. So salute to those guys. But I'm still watching anyway. I think I am going to come up to you guys at MetLife and go see SummerSlam next season or next year because it's up there. It's gonna be outside.
It's at MetLife, yeah.
Is it? Yep. And
I know that.
Yeah, yep. It's SummerSlam up there. And I'm gonna watch somebody.
It was Philly last year, right?
Yep. So somebody's gonna, you know, that was you think about WrestleMania. This is gonna be SummerSlam.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
SummerSlam. So somebody's gonna be competing not to die when I come up there. So that's what I'm coming to see. Podcast with your boy Sean, Earl, Dave. Sean is off camera because my mic decided to want to be an asshole today. But thank goodness for Amazon Prime deals because I ordered a new laptop. That's awesome. Thank you, Amazon.
This reminds me, I gotta press buy on my joint.
Yeah, I got. What time is over at 12?
Yeah, I believe
something
so.
like that. Switch gears real quick, man. And on a serious note, we want to give all of our I hate saying the thoughts and prayers because that shit's so corny, but best wishes, man, and whatever to the folks down in Florida.
Yeah, man.
Man, listen. They going through it. They just had Hurricane. What was this before? Milton's coming through there now. And then
Helene
there on the Panhandle. Now you got Milton coming out there. So much so that I'm watching I don't know if y'all saw it. The weather guy, and he's talking about
the one that did the animation in the back.
No.
No, that's the guy that broke down.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Sean, you there?
This can you hear me?
Yeah, now we do.
Okay, my bad. He's talking about the strengthening of this hurricane, man, and he's watching, the pressure, the lower the pressure on a hurricane. This is something I do remember from high school days. The lower the pressure, the stronger that hurricane is, and the likelihood that there's going to be some death that follows it. It's just what it is, man.
There's no way.
Yeah, he was breaking down like this thing had sustained winds about like 175 miles an hour with gusts of over 200 plus miles an hour.
Damn.
And it dropped down to like 850 millibars, if I'm correct, making it, I think, the 5th strongest hurricane in history.
And it's huge. Not just speed. It's huge,
man. And it goes.
You're talking about the one that broke down, though, right?
Yeah. He's talking about him because it was like, you thinking about his job is to, to give you the updates and all the science behind this. But at the end of the day, the human factor kicks in. It's like, it's going to be some people who can't evacuate, who won't evacuate. I mean, it's a whole state. I mean,
I'll tell you another one. Because I seen that one when he broke down and everything else like that. But then the other one, if you seen the quick joint from Breakfast Club, the guy calling in, and you could just tell, it's just, and I agree with everything he said in the joint.
Yeah.
And a quick breakdown of it was he was calling in and just letting it be known that it's hell down there. And I've always, he put me in my place, to be honest with you, because I've always been one of those ones like, man, this thing is coming. Get the hell out of Dodge. Like, what the hell are you staying there for?
Right.
But it's not that easy.
It's not,
it's not, and that's what he was saying on, live on air with the Breakfast Club. He was like, I ain't got the money. I ain't got the funds to get on out of here. You can't even find gas down here to get on out of here. Even if you wanted to, then you get on the road, it could take over a day just to get out of your area.
Yeah.
That's how many people are on the road. He was like, it's hell. And then he said, I don't care who the hell is in office. I don't care if it's Democrat, Republican, whoever it is. No one ever helps us.
Right.
He was like, FEMA, it's like you putting in a claim to insurance.
Yeah.
And you're hoping that they come through with something. And then even if they come through with something, it definitely ain't enough for your house being gone. And he was basically saying that in that sense, like, this is hell out here when you see billions easily being given to out there to Ukraine and out to Israel and things like that. Yep. No matter what side you're on, he's like, we don't get that here. We don't get that here. We've always spoken about that.
And you're constantly
always spoken about that.
And the part that's so infuriating about it, because I started off talking about insurance. You pay into this bullshit all year. You got to. In most cases,
for them to tell you, this ain't covered.
Right. Or
that's a storm. You got hit by the flood.
Yeah.
But you got
or
bullshit.
A case where you paid into it all year and you didn't do no claims or nothing. Ain't nobody coming back and saying, hey, look, you paid into X amount of dollars. Here's $500 for not having a claim this year. Or something like that.
I think the thing about that, that clip, and I was listening to that on my way home, and the thing I took from that was, this the one I was like, man, this hit me. He was like, man, I can't wait for God to come back.
Yeah.
And I was like, because he was like implying like, yo, he the only one that give us like because this humanity, your humans ain't right. Like people ain't noble.
No,
and they ain't living like righteous. Like it's greed and it's this is hell down here. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like,
And it's all over. And I want people to realize we're not just speaking from any sides or any political stance.
Right.
I think it's disgusting that DeSantis is down there as the governor and don't want to speak with certain people and certain things that he's saying. But I also think it's disgusting that we want to promote, Kamala Harris down there trying to give calls and go around areas. It was never promoted before, but now that you're running,
Right.
now we want to see it on TV. I don't care about none of that stuff. You know what I mean? And I spoke about this years ago when everything happened down there in like the Louisiana area. What was that, Katrina?
Mm-hmm.
And people are still misplaced, like relocated in different areas that they never got to return to, and areas that are still outside of your Mardi Gras area. Those wards outside of there that are still not rebuilt.
Right.
But we can rebuild whole countries out this joint. And that's what I never understand. And he's right. No matter who's in office, it's still like you're out here pleading and you're an American and they're looking at you like, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. You were saying the thing about the insurance. The two things that happened to me last year within the house between the aquarium and the sprinkler system. Right. And yeah, they covered me through the claims. But then they told me I had to go get new insurance because I reported 2 claims within 6 months. Well, that's funny because I've been here for 9 years and I paid all this time into this joint. Why do I got to get new insurance?
Right. And how many claims did you have during that 9 years prior to that?
Just those 2.
That's what I'm saying. Like I paid 9
Just
years
those 2
of X amount of thousands of dollars, and I have 2 claims. You tell me I'm too. What?
I don't get it.
What do you
insurance? Certain insurances are out there where they cover you for things that they hope don't happen.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Right.
You go and report something, and they're like, "Oh shit! So you really want us? What?"
And then they'll find
What's
a loophole.
going on?
They'll find a loophole. And
then, we cover 20% of that. What?
And then it'll take forever and a day for you to even get that money.
It's
sad, bro.
It really is, man. And for all of the folks, the world, the earth is just fine. Again, global warming is a thing, guys. That is a thing. Like, I've only been in Maryland now 7 years. I grew up during a time in Virginia, and I remember really bad thunderstorms. I do. Mm-hmm. But I also remember a time during that time, I say, well, where do we have hurricanes? They typically happen around Florida, maybe up to Georgia, the Carolinas. We had, we get the side swipe of it in VA. Mm-hmm. I knew about heavy blizzards and storms up in, upper New York, Maine, stuff like that. You go out on the West Coast, I knew earthquakes. I know about Tornado Alley and shit like that. Now all this shit happens in Maryland. I done had an earthquake. I had a tornado in my backyard. We done had hurricanes. Only thing I'm missing is
dude, you in the middle of October, and I think it's supposed to hit like 80-something degrees this weekend.
Right.
I remember them singing songs going into the wintertime talking about a white Christmas.
Right.
Snow don't hit until like mid-January, and that joint runs until damn near April.
Yeah. You got
people on spring break, and you got to leave the damn country to enjoy sun.
To enjoy it, yep.
You got DC. DC is known for one of the big things DC is known for that attracts people from everywhere, even from people from outside the country. The Cherry Blossom Festival. Cherry Blossoms they be blooming in like January. They be like, wait, what the fuck you talking about? It's January, but it's 83 degrees outside. It's insane, man. It makes you go watch all of these films, and we're gonna move on to something else. It makes you watch all of these films that is science fiction, but with every bit of fiction, there's always a bit of truth. One of the things that I always remember, and I think it was an Independence Day, and they gave the part where they show where the aliens were going from planet to planet and they were just like locusts. They use up all of the natural resources and they move on planet to planet. But also one of our favorite films and one of the highest grossing, if not the highest grossing film, one of the highest grossing of all time was from our Avengers, Thanos himself. Yeah, Thanos himself. And they put it in there like, hey, he took out half of the universe because
Infinity War. Then.
Yeah, yep. all of these vessels, we were just really, it was the resources was finite. Like everything else, we just use that stuff up. So it was like, you know what, the only way, and I'm not saying I'm for this, but you have to understand where he's coming from. You're destroying the place that you live. Like it's just like endless. It's infinite. And we didn't think about this stuff when we were younger, but now, we're on the other side of 40. It looks different. We didn't think about this stuff before. And now it's happening at a pace now where all of us know somebody who live in Florida.
Yeah.
We've been to Florida. You look at what, you got Disney, all this other stuff down there. It's like,
and this ain't a one-off. Like this is every year, man.
Right now, they got another.
They're doing this every year.
Milton is coming through there now. There is 2 more tropical storms. One of them, I think they call Nadine, is out there now, and we don't know what.
Serious?
Yes, you got Nadine out there, and
because it goes in alphabetical order. So the next one will be an N.
Yeah, and I'll say this, and we'll move on. How interesting! How interesting! If when you look at the origin of the majority of these storms, that they form off of that, I guess that's the western coast of Africa. You ever notice that? Go look at where all these storms come from. And they form off of the coast on that water outside of the west coast of Africa and make their way to the United States. Interesting. It's just interesting. Podcast with your boy Sean, Earl, Dave. Sean's off camera because my camera's not working. If you're watching, yeah, man,
Let's go Mets.
Yeah,
sorry, just for the people that show.
Let's go Mets.
So Dave's in a good mood. I wish I was on camera to show my attire today. If you saw at the beginning of the show, you were
gonna say Earl's in a good mood.
I was in a good mood because it was in a good mood. He was in a great mood. I'm not in a great mood. You know why? Because I spent.
Because you fell down the steps.
Yeah, that too. That was just the beginning of it. That was just the beginning of it.
Oh shit. Uh-oh. That's why he's in a bad mood.
I was about to say exactly why he's not in a good mood.
That's why he's in a bad mood.
Exactly why.
I don't know what's happening right now.
The man was like, "Stop talking about climate change."
Yeah, right. This motherfucker, he know too much. I had been in a great mood because I was anticipating what I thought.
Oh shoot!
Was going to be. They trying to silence me. They keep kicking my mic off. They trying to silence me. I was looking forward to what I thought was going to be one of the best films of the year.
Yep.
And I'm not even going to call it what the actual title is. I'm just going to call it Joker 2. I don't know about this Folie, deux shit. Which I'm going to let you know, I haven't been to see it yet. Why didn't I? I stayed away from all spoilers, social media, everything. And even with that, social media was like, nigga, I got something to tell you. And it still popped up when I went looking for it, for folks to let me know that the movie itself has been, I don't know what is less than well received, but it has been received like shit. So I started going down that rabbit hole.
Damn, it was Tridash?
I haven't been to see it yet.
Yeah.
But there's
I don't know. We'll talk in a second.
For all intents and purposes, Joker 2 is bombing. And it makes me sad because I don't know why you can't just stick to the script. The Joker has been around. mind you, Batman has been around since the 1930s. Older than me. The Joker character came out in Batman #1. Okay. And that goes back, of course, created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. I'm a big fan. This was 1940. I'm not reading this, guys. I know this. Dave can attest to this. I know my history on Batman and Joker. There's no reason that you should have this on film. Take it over, Dave, because I'm gonna say something that's go
take your time.
Fire this shit up in a minute.
Take your time.
Let's go back to what you're just talking about as far as not trying to see any spoilers or anything like that. I was so concerned I had to call my boy and mentally prepare him for when he does go see it. Did I not?
Yep, he did.
And
when he called me, I knew why he was calling me because it was a couple of days before the movie came out, and when he called me, without me answering the phone, I knew it was bad news. I just knew how it rang, and it rings the same way, but it rang a little different. It rang in like slow motion. I was like, "Oh, this is some bullshit here." Keep going.
So, if you know about us being huge Marvel and DC fans specifically, I wasn't here to spoil it for him or anything else like that, but it was more to prepare him because if you know anything about specifically this Joker, I'm gonna say one-off because that was what it was supposed to be.
Right.
So if you don't know the background of the true story about that first Joker movie, and if you haven't seen it, it's one of those movies that is a classic movie for a certain type. It wasn't meant for everybody to love it, but it definitely had you thinking because it was a totally different take on the Joker and really like within the mind of the Joker of certain things that was going on. But the second movie was never supposed to be made. Yeah. Think about all the movies that you know that they just went a little bit too far.
Yeah.
Trying to tell this story mainly because the first story or even the second story sold well within the box office. And then they made another one and you were like, okay, all right, we can stop this right now. Hangover much? So, yeah, that was really the case of this. So much so that the director didn't even want to make the second one. He didn't even want to make the second one, no matter how well the first one did.
Yep.
I was scared already when I heard Lady Gaga being cast and it being a musical. Now, let me preface this.
Batman or Joker? I'm sorry, Joker? Wow.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So let me preface this. I love musicals. I can name off a bunch of musicals that I watch. I know you don't, girl. But I love musicals. I'm a person to go up to New York at least once or twice a year and see different musicals. But I was really concerned on how this was going to go within the Joker tale, especially the way the first one was portrayed.
Right.
But I've heard the music is not even the worst part of the movie, which lets me know, whoa, this really went off the rail. So let me also break it down in this way. There's certain movies that I follow at least 20 to 25 different reviewers of movies. I'm talking about people that go out and review these things before they're even released. They're invited to these places. I am not exaggerating. Still to this day, I haven't seen a good review of this movie from no one. Still to this day. I've seen people pick out certain parts of it that they're like, okay, well, this was going to go, and then it stopped. So yeah, I know my boy's frustration without even seeing it. He'll probably still go see it.
Yep. Got a whole fit.
Got
a whole fit.
Still go see it. But when you have that type of thing in your mind, it's tough. It's tough. He'll definitely take his own take on it, but it's tough because even if he comes out liking it, it's like, man, y'all messed up because this is how it's going to be remembered. You know, there's been some movies that a lot of people don't like that I sat back and I was like, okay, this was okay to me at least, or something like that. But yeah, it's when you take the story too far.
Since you're talking about it, what was a movie that you felt the masses didn't like, but you was like, it's not that bad?
That's a good question. Let me think for a second. Well, let's stay within the comic side of things. On Marvel side of things, I didn't hate. I think I said it. I didn't hate that last Ant-Man joint. I didn't hate it like everybody else hated it. But the thing that pissed me off is I felt they could have done more. I felt the same way about Doctor Strange, the last one. I felt they could have done a whole lot more, specifically with the Kane character itself. When we're talking about like the Ant-Man side of things, I think they could have done more with the Kane character. And then on the Doctor Strange thing, I think they just could have done more with the multiverse. So those are two movies that altogether a lot of people didn't like, but while they didn't live up to the hype to me, I didn't think they was as horrible as the general public. And there's plenty of movies out there like that. There's certain movies that have ran its course and people still try to come out with that last one. Like I said, with The Hangover. I loved the first Hangover and the stories that were, and then I was like, man, y'all are just really trying to just create a story that's not there no more. You know, I know some people love this series, so I'm not here to knock this one I'm about to say. But, you know, I stopped with the Fast and the Furious a long time ago. I couldn't even tell you the last probably 4 of them. I think I stopped at the, what was that, Hobbs and whatever joint.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one I kind of forced myself to watch 4 times because I fell asleep that many times on the joint. So it's not to say those other movies aren't good. It's just in my mind, I was like, I'll get around to it when I get around to it. Because it ran its course to me.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know how you feel, Sean. I guess that's a good question to kind of go around. Give me a movie or a couple of them that you did kind of, I'll serve it in 2 ways, that you've seen that a lot of people, general public, doesn't hold in a high regard, but you kind of sat back and said, this is all right.
You know, it's crazy.
I'm up here thinking about that now.
I really got to do because
it's tough. It's tough.
You know what? I thought, and it was, even though it didn't come out in theaters, I thought the Matrix Resurrection was pretty dope. I thought it was dope. I like what they did because I feel like how much,
and that was definitely one trash by the general public. So yeah.
I like what they did with that. And how they rewrote it and set it up if they were going to do it in the future, which I doubt they would because I think all the money that they spent on it. But I like what they did. They reimagined it, and if you really have to get into the Matrix films, you have to really allow yourself to get into the script and the mental aspect of itself. And when you start going down that rabbit hole, it can get pretty deep. So I like what they did there.
And to be honest with you, and this is where we don't even have to agree on things, like that was a movie that I felt like, whether good or not, I feel like never should have been done because I felt like the story was where it needed to be.
Yeah.
So you get what I mean? Like, even if the movie was good, let's say it was good.
Right.
In my mind, I was like, nah, man, like that ending, like where the Matrix was, just leave it. Just leave it. You don't have to go no further. Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you about one that isn't it coming up, or did it come out already? Why we have a Gladiator 2? I don't need that.
Right.
And Denzel's in that joint, but I don't need that. Like the Gladiator joint was a standalone. Like, leave that alone. I don't need no part 2.
So we thought about it. Y'all remember? I think a couple of episodes ago when we were going through all the new movies that was coming out. Remember that part when we were like, I don't know if you remember, Dave. It said the Crow. They did the Crow remake.
Oh man,
that shit came out.
That did. Yeah, I know.
It came out, and they got a 4.7 out of 10 on IMDb. I saw the
Another
trailer.
movie that should have been left alone.
Yeah, right. You just it makes
the main thing that brought you to that is no longer here. Unfortunately, we should not even be.
It makes me mad. This Joker 2 film, to get back to it, and this is I hate. Go pick another, in my opinion, for all y'all directors and stuff like that out there or studios. Go pick something else to fuck up, because Todd Phillips, who's the director of it, said he'd know at like today's point, he didn't want any part of a sequel.
Nope.
Warner Brothers spent $200 million on this budget, and Todd Phillips didn't even test screen the film.
Nope.
And as of right now, worldwide, so 42 million domestic, 77 million international, 119 million that is made so far. And that's not including marketing. So that 200 million is probably more than that. They have a massive flop on the
and I think Joaquin got what, 20, and I think Lady Gaga got like 12 or 13.
Yeah. and it's giving me I don't know. I want to believe in him, but it's giving me a side eye to James Gunn and his partner over there. Like, hey,
well,
was this?
I just want to point this out.
Yeah,
I heard he had no ties to this movie.
Yeah, I'm assuming
what he did.
So. Yeah.
What he did was give a couple of points,
right,
for what's his name to take, but he didn't use any of them.
No, he don't. And what's
the Todd Phillips that he didn't use any of them. So
I don't know, guys,
because I heard he made it out of spite, and you're gonna see within the movie that there's certain storylines he started to go down, and then he purposely stopped because he didn't care if this thing did well or not.
So apparently, nobody at Warner Brothers watched that Fantastic Four film with Michael B. Jordan in it when Fox was like, you know what, we ain't gonna even finish the fucking film. Apparently, nobody at Warner Brothers is a football fan and watching that the Cleveland fucking Browns shouldn't have gave Deshaun Watson nasty ass all that goddamn money.
Man,
that they should bench him today. So no one watches this, huh? Take the L, bro. We know y'all have an infinite amount of money. Otherwise, you
already went in and squashed the film.
A whole film. And Batgirl. You spent almost $100 million on that. I was like, nah, y'all could have left this shit on the shelf. I'm gonna go see it because I have custom apparel and stuff for this movie. Some dope ass custom Crocs that the missus did. I'm excited.
Let's wait a minute. Let's bring out another point.
That is
Okay, so Todd, she know you bought. She made the Crocs for you, right?
Absolutely. I got sports.
You ain't buying nothing else, like.
I got a graphic ski. I got some other stuff in there, but when I go see my film,
I get nervous when you talk about custom shit.
I love my films. I love my films. I love my films.
Was you gonna bring out those those Yamings? Was those coming out of the woodwork?
I got the y'all saw I have the Batman edition Pumas that I bought when the Batman came out. So
I ain't about to ask you how much.
It's
Puma need to sponsor you at this point, bro.
It's disappointing, man. It's disappointing that I had high hopes, even with it being a musical to Dave's point. But I am going to do a review, and I'm going to come in objectively.
Well, how about this?
Yeah,
you've heard a lot of people say, that it was a bad movie, right?
Yeah,
but at least go. When you go see it, you get your opinion. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully that doesn't deter you, or that doesn't distort your.
No, go ahead.
You know what? Since we're on movies, I hear somebody at least finally saw a movie.
I was about to transition to that. Yes, I finally watched Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
I just watched Bad Boy.
I was up late and $24.99 short because that's how much I paid for it on Amazon Prime. It was fantastic, man. Deadpool. It was fantastic.
Wait a minute, you say you did what through Amazon Prime?
I paid $24.99.
Oh, yep, that's your fault.
It's $24.
It's free.
No, I watched it before they dropped it onto Disney Plus.
He bought it when it first came out and didn't even watch it, and then he just watched it.
I had credit, so it's fine.
It's not fine. It's not fine.
I did watch it, man. I watched it. The missus watched it with me, and it was really, really good. I will say this though. My only drawback from it is I felt like some parts of the script was kind of forced. With the extra amount of vulgarity in it. While it hit, I can feel like it was forced at times.
Isn't Deadpool always vulgar? You know, this is coming from a
tell there's a difference. So, like, person. I can tell it's when it comes off naturally, and I can feel like it's almost like when I forget the actor's name. I saw it, but let me know, Dave. Deadpool actor, I forget his name. Ryan Reynolds. You could tell when, like, in the first couple of Deadpools, when you watch it, I feel like they wrote a script, but he just be like riffing, and that shit comes off so natural. But I can tell by it.
I think the reason why is because Ryan Reynolds was just trying to let you know, yes, I can even say fuck with Disney.
Yeah, that's what it was. So that, besides that, man, was great, man. Even though I knew the cameos that was in it, I still didn't watch any of the. I knew the people who were in it. I didn't know when they were going to show up. So I still walked into it, even a month later, coming out of it like surprised, because I didn't look at any spoilers at all. I just knew the people who were in it, like with Blade and with Electra, and even Toad and Pyro. Everybody, I knew everybody who was in it, but I was sure not to watch anything. Yeah, Gambit, everything.
That John was amazing.
It was
the Gambit,
fantastic film. I love how it tied into the universe, and I didn't even know about the TVA part because I had been so far removed from Loki. Yeah, so I watched it like without
that beginning scene. You already knew you were in for something. The way that they cut that beginning scene,
I love
all rumors to bed about how can you actually bring Logan back.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I loved it, man. So that was pretty dope. That, and I also watched something that I didn't see in film. I'm in theaters. I watched Bad Boys Try to Die.
Yeah, that's what I did. Hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
So y'all, the lot of these Marvel movies, is a lot of it just like the anticipation of how they're going to spin the movie? Because I feel like because like, you know, everybody, or a lot of people that like Marvel, especially older folks, is going back to the comic books. And, you know, from what I learned from y'all, the comic books are pretty different in some ways than the actual movie is, right?
That should be corny sometimes, so you can't do
but it's interesting, and from what I'm hearing, you know, and I observe y'all, you know, I feel like it's, I don't even want to say like y'all get excited, but I feel
I know
like
what you're talking about.
It's
the nostalgia of it.
Yeah, it's that, but then it's also like
it brings you back
conversation. Yeah, it's a good conversation starter. Like, damn, like I wonder what they're gonna do, or like I see, like I know that this person is connected with this person. How are they?
What they did, Earl, was capture everybody's innocence, and what I mean by that is, when we talk about childhood, you don't have all those different biases. The only children that have those biases are the ones that it was put with them. You get what I mean? Like, you're starting off with that clean slate. And when we're talking about things like comic books and cartoons and all these different type of things, this was a time period where there were no worries. And now, especially, I think I can speak for any of us being fathers here, especially when you're able to enjoy that with your young ones, it takes it to, whether you're interested or not, it takes it to a whole nother level, because they're experiencing something that you experienced at their age or younger. So it's a good you used the word right. Yeah. Like, it's a good conversational piece within that, because it's a conversation starter. But I think the intrigue, especially on the Marvel side, and this is what I was saying was missing on that DC side, and then Marvel's even trying to get it back now, is capturing how these stories are connecting to the next one.
Right.
Marvel was masterful with that during the Infinity series. they've messed up with that during the multiverse series.
Yep.
DC had something that was about to go, but then they tried to rush it, and now it's all over the place. So that's why they had to kind of reset in their ways. So that's the part that was drawing you into each and every next film, because you were like, okay, so where's this story going to? And where's this, and how's this character going to be involved? But when you lose that, then it's like, well, this is a one-off, like Joker was supposed to be. And while you love Joker, it's like, okay, so why are we doing another one?
The biggest thing takeaway from this Earl, is the imagination aspect of it. This is not to make this about me, but this is from a time period for me specifically, before the military and everything else. When I went through, since the age of I don't know, the time I could hold a pencil, all the way through high school, the prevailing thought for me specifically was that I eventually was going to work for Walt Disney. My entire family knew, all my friends knew that talent for artistry for me was there. My senior year in high school, I had I had 3 art classes back-to-back periods. So that's why, I had already got all my credits and stuff like that.
Right.
Outside of music like that, I was head and shoulders above where I should, what many thought I should be for my age, and as being an artist. Animation, so all stuff appealed to me. Even my senior project from my computer art class was fantastic. I wish I hadn't lost that VHS. But I was ready, and my favorite film still to this day, my favorite animated film on a Disney side is still The Lion King, because of what they were able to do. So I was supposed to, and I thought, to work for Disney. Mm-hmm. And then you take from the comic book aspect, and you do this stuff because you're not thinking about money. You're thinking about, I'm just creating things that just make me feel good. Look at Stan Lee and them. Yes, they also had the X-Men. So as they went into the 60s and 70s, you had those type of civil rights things when they tied into it. Because like you draw from your outside world. Right. But the imagination, think about what we're talking about in Marvel, the amount of characters, the amount of drugs you got to be on to think of all these characters, man. And maybe you're not, but that's just a tongue-in-cheek joke.
I always say that.
Think of this thing. I think about some of the things that I did as an artist then, and I gave it to my son, Javen. I gave him my art book, and he looked at it, and he was wowed because things I just thought of. And the same thing about music is the imagination of it. But the moment that some assholes got a hold of this creation and tried or started making money off of it, that's where everything went sideways. Because this is why you have so many bad films.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you start making so many bad films, and you have people critiquing them. It's like, it's just bad. It's just the imagination aspect. There's no reason that we should be talking about a flop for the Joker.
Right.
There's no reason, because the source material is there. It's like them coming out with the Transformers films and basing it off the one that really resonates with us, and they fucking it up. We know that Optimus Prime dies. Let's do it the right way, guys. Let's do it the right way.
To piggyback on what you just said, Sean, on that imagination tip was, if you've ever seen, I believe it's called Saving Mr. Banks.
Yep.
The story of Walt Disney specifically, his whole journey of making Mary Poppins.
Yes.
Do you know that took him over 20 years
to make Mary Poppins?
Took him over 20 years, and when you see Saving Mr. Banks, it tells you about that journey, and it gives you a new appreciation for something like a Mary Poppins movie. Just all the things that he went through, and even the person that played the character and the music behind it and things like that. You're like, man. And then when you go back and watch Mary Poppins, you're like, oh, wow. All this went on. This wasn't just something that was just shot. It's amazing. It's amazing to me. So, but that whole Disney concept, like you said, Disney, Stan Lee, people like that, they're in leagues of their own. They were so far ahead of their time. And think about it. They're getting heavily appreciated now back then, people probably thought they were crazy.
Yep. Y'all messing up, folks. Y'all messing up. Podcast with your boy Sean, Earl, Dave. We got a not so breaking news today. I'm at the pull one up.
Not so breaking news. Let's go Mets. NLCS, baby. That's the only news you need to know. That the Miracle Mets are still ticking.
Can I ask this question as like, as a diehard Mets fan, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm a skating Mets fan, right? If y'all, and I'm not putting this on the Mets, if this was for the end right now, would y'all be happy?
When you say y'all, you talking
to the diehards.
Oh,
because from
you saying
what
in the NLCS, what would be happy?
Because from what I remember, and I remember like vividly, where especially in the beginning of that season, it was like, what the fuck? Like we was just a playoff team.
Put it this way: the percentage of us making the playoffs at the beginning of the season was probably, and this is not an exaggeration, was probably about 1 to 3% after the first couple months of the season.
That's crazy.
That's how bad it was. And then they just clicked. So to go back to your question, would I be, I guess, disappointed you're looking for if everything ended right now in the NLCS, the next joint?
I mean, I guess we can't.
I don't think I would be disappointed. Okay, so what would you say?
Because you've exceeded your expectations.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, like, I like at this point, it's kind of like this. What's the best way I can describe it? So when you play like a lottery, you play like a scratch off, right?
Mm-hmm.
The scratch off has like multiple different games on that card, right? Like say you do like a bingo, right? It's 8 different bingo games on there. The first game, you hit like $100. So it's like you already won, but it's like, damn, I could really win the whole thing or get some more money by winning these other cards. So it's like y'all season was already a success because y'all made it to the championship, right? The NLCS championship, right? But I also understand the flip side of that is like if we're here, let's try to go get the the pennant.
Go get that chip.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely at that point. Because I said it before even the playoffs began. I said if we snuck into the playoffs, nobody wants to see us. And because when you trickle into the playoffs in that type of way and you're riding that momentum, I mean, hell, we're Giants fans. We already know. When you trickle in that type of way, nobody wants to see you because things are expected of these other teams. Right now, we're going to face either the Dodgers or the Padres. Things are expected of those teams because of the people that play on those teams. You're talking about 1 and 2. But when you're talking about on our side of things, none was expected of us. Something was expected of us a couple years ago when we broke the bank for our whole roster. And that team did nothing. Absolutely nothing. But nothing was expected of this team. And then all of a sudden they go on this run. Realize we haven't been on a run like this for about 8 or 9 years?
I'm going to say this. Y'all going to look at me crazy. But I'm going to tell you, if this happens, just know the end of the world is absolutely around the corner. Okay?
Hey, don't treat us like we're the Browns now.
No. I'm just saying. This is too much. It's too much.
Don't treat me like that. Look here. I will be on an all-time high.
No, let me finish. So look,
go ahead.
The Mets win the pennant.
Uh-huh.
The Liberty win the
WNBA. Uh-huh.
The Giants go on a crazy-ass run, and we win.
I don't even want to talk about that, as I told you. Okay.
And then the Knickerbockers get to the championship and freaking lose.
That'll be the end of this podcast.
It'll be the end of life as we know it.
Yeah.
That's too much New York winning.
Speaking Well,
one of these New York teams going to hit. One of them is going to pull it out, hopefully.
I definitely see the Liberty, though.
Yeah.
I definitely see the Liberty.
I mean, they got Big Bad Wolf out of the way, so shit.
Since we're here, and it's not so breaking news, but it was semi-breaking news. But we know this New York team ain't winning shit. The New York Jets, they fired Robert Saleh.
And I thought you were saving that too.
Yeah, because we're gonna talk about a bunch of other stuff then. But what I found interesting about this is one, I did say I felt bad because I said this in last week's football talk. I'm like, Robert Saleh, your days are numbered. Saleh. This thing I know, they was like, they fired him. I was like, ain't this a bitch? But the crazy part is their owner, Woody Johnson, was like, this decision was mine and mine alone. Man, look, I know we have had our troubles as Commanders football team, Redskins fan. But now it feels great, so I don't give a shit about that. And y'all have had y'all recent troubles with the Giants. I think I can honestly say that all three of us are glad we are not Jets fans.
Oh, hell yeah.
That shit there, ain't it, bro. That ain't it. You got a quarterback that is over the hill when he came from Green Bay. And they're going to spin it however they do. And saying that he had no part in this. Maybe.
This is what I think happened. Woody Johnson and what's your boy A-Rod had a meeting. He said, "Look, X, Y, and Z. I really feel like they had a problem with the offense, and it was like, yo, I think we might have to." But he was like, "Nah, don't touch my offensive coordinator." All right, well, somebody gotta go. All right, well, and Salah that's the name, Salah.
Yeah, Rob Saleh.
Salah, sorry. He's like, he gotta go.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. What doesn't make sense. And I was telling Dave this the other day. Yeah, I'm sorry. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't get why. What is the rationale for getting rid of a coach in the middle or the beginning of the season?
Stupidity.
Like, it's like, yo,
Say it right. Say it right. Not just the coach, a defensive coach.
Defensive
coach in his place.
Right.
Who had nothing to do with
the defense wasn't the problem. The defense wasn't the problem.
They wouldn't even let Robert Saleh touch the offense.
No. So as a Jets fan, that's what I really feel bad for. As a Jets fan, like I'm like, yo, I'm tired of this shit. Like we get an opportunity, we get a chance. Y'all get y'all quarterback. The defense actually looks good. You know what I'm saying? Y'all talking like, bruh. He ain't the problem. The problem is Woody Johnson.
Let me just tell you something.
Aaron Rodgers.
And this is real. I never thought, like everybody else, I guess, as far as the Jets being so great with Aaron Rodgers coming in.
What were they looking at?
I knew they needed a quarterback, but there was a difference between getting a quarterback and selling your soul to someone. They sold their soul to Aaron Rodgers. Whatever he wanted there, that's what they had there. Right. So you can't just stop now. And we've already said it. The thing that was the problem was the offense.
Yeah.
Well, you have a defensive-minded coach. And the defensive coordinator, everything's straight on their side.
Yes.
So what's the thing that's messing up? It's the offensive side. So if I have nothing to do with that, and I also had nothing to do with the people that you're putting in place there, why am I going there?
What I got to do?
Like you said, it's a scapegoat. Now, mind you, I never thought he was a great head coach anyway. I think he is a coordinator.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give no excuses there. But if you really wanted to carry it the right way, I never thought he should have been a coach entering the season in the first place.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the type of venom.
Why did
I'll be like, you know what? Purposely, I'm gonna go to a division rival, and I'm going to bring hell. I'm going to bring hell to, like, please, just somebody.
Oh, they said he's already being shots as far as coming in during the season as a defense coordinator.
I was about to say
but he's gonna take a break.
Yeah, I would say I would take a pay cut just so that I could come in on a divisional team. And let me explain something to you. And I'm like,
imagine him going to San Francisco as DC.
Yeah,
No. I feel
there.
like he's gonna go somewhere in
No, but I'm saying they need it because they're not all together right now.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, he just go back to where he was at.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. You go back there and then lead them to something.
What?
That's not far fetched.
It's a weird. I mean, we're gonna talk about more. We're gonna talk about this more on Sunday or Saturday, whatever day we decide. For football talk. Let me just show you guys that. I guess
You said Saturday, right?
I don't know. What did we say?
We'll see what's up. What's up?
Oh, okay.
We're gonna talk about one of those things. But yeah, football talk live on YouTube and Facebook. Yeah. Yep, that's the Hot Seat Podcast presents Football Talk live on YouTube and Facebook for your viewing pleasure. Before we get out of here, man, of course, this podcast won't be what it is if we hadn't taken our Xbox Live conversation over to the podcast space where now we can be watched and listened all across the globe. I hadn't played too many video games as I transitioned from the old company.
You were truthful.
Yeah, I hadn't been on there for a while, but I'll be back in the fold and everything's good now. I'm out of that training phase. So you will be able to find me on Sanaa 2X on Xbox. It's not even live no more, it's just on Xbox at this point. But you know what? You know where we are? One thing that won't be a flop. I have 15 more fucking days for City Skylines 2 to drop.
Yeah, I don't want you to talk about that shit no more, bro. I want you to be done with that shit.
I got the sound effects. I will say what we talk about today. That's where we go. Sanaa 2X, man. City Skylines 2, October 24th. What you got, Dave?
Storyteller. Yeah, you know we're playing on our normal. We got the Madden, which we got to jump back on. The NCAA.
We're good.
The NCAA football, which I gotta give a shout out and respect to my boy Earl over here because we had 2 leagues. We purposely started up a league with 2-star universities. Mine was San Diego State. His was Rutgers, and he just came away with the championship. I'm gonna take a little bit of credit for that because he was throwing it to
you're right. You're right.
Hey,
and then we also got
a real one there because he sent me the screenshot. Shout out to Eric, man. So I don't know if you guys know, Eric was doing, I guess he had a separate college football dynasty. He played so many seasons, they was like, your ass got to retire. He sent me the screenshot. It was like year 2053, and it was like, you got to retire. Won't no option to go to another school or nothing, yo. I'm like, wow, that was wild. So, but that's all I got, man. What you go, man?
So yeah, we also got NBA 2K. Jumping on that, and then a game that my son doesn't know that I'm about to surprise him with is the Dragon Ball Z, Sparking Zero.
I like it.
So
you better get on that game. Yeah, you about to whip your ass a couple weeks ago.
I forgot to leave that there. I will be.
Go ahead, Earl.
I will be.
Yeah, definitely. You know, me and Dave, because me and Dave the only consistent folks that's on this box. So, NBA. Well, actually, we need to start playing NBA 2K, but I need NBA to actually do some updates, especially with that shot meters.
Shout out to E Wood, he's in that league now.
Yeah, word. Definitely on NCAA, real heavy, very, very heavy. I'm probably gonna get on there in a minute. And I definitely want to thank Dave. It was my idea to start this
right.
2-star league or whatever. And then the struggle was real that first season, and I was like, you know what, I'm good. So every single time Dave would say, "Hey, yo, man, we got a game," and yo, just push it.
Just push
it. And then I get to the end of the season, and I think I made it to a bowl game. I played 1 game or so, 2 games. Made it to a bowl game. And I actually had a 5-star recruit that wanted to come here. I said, all right, I'm going to put some investment in this. Put some investment in it. Started getting 5 stars. Your boy, boy won the championship, bro. I was unranked, was beating top 10 teams. They was disrespecting me on the rankings, but yeah, so I finally got in there. I had to claw my way to the college football playoffs, but I got there. So shout out to Dave. Actually, I like that one more than I like the one that we've been in.
I know you do.
Look at
but I like both of it. Like it's really fun. It's really
look at
fun.
little Coach Prime over there. You got all 10 of your toes. I like it.
It's really fun. I wish more people would get back in it and play, but it's cool.
Oh man!
Right now, the world's all right again.
And get that boy 973. Sorry.
Good stuff, man. But yeah, congrats again, Dave, man, on y'all making it over to the NLCS. Good time in the baseball.
Thank you.
NBA season is starting. Shout out to the Wizards for having these cheap ass tickets. So I'm gonna go see LeBron play before he retire.
See the Yankees. I mean the Mets, right there. Sorry, the Yankees. I'm sorry.
Pretty dope.
I'm joking.
Pretty dope, man.
They use the same damn what's the name, bro. He just moved the Y down a little bit. He just moved the Y down a little bit. It's the same damn thing, you know?
Let's end this show.
They moved the Y down a little bit.
Let's end this shit.
Bro. That is all they do.
Let's go Rutgers.
The hot seat.